Okay, we're recording, and this is voice reel work. Introduce yourselves, please.
Daniel Brown.
Samantha Crilly.
And off you go.
Okay, so how did you perform effectively as an individual in the recording studio?
I think I was on time. I was warmed up. I was prepared. I think I had been there before. So I did it at Radio Jackie, so I'd been there before. I kind of knew what the role was down there. Understood there was like time slots we had to go through. That was challenging because we had like the news and then we had the travel, etc. So we had to work around that. But I think I was okay. I think a lack of confidence probably did me a bit. But I was with my friend, my DJ friend, so he boosted me up a bit. How about you?
I made sure I was warmed up. Like my voice was warmed up just because I know one of my problems is whenever I have whenever my throat is bunged up like it is now, or whenever it is bunged up in general, I won't be able to perform to the most effective of my abilities. So I made sure I was always on time, prepared, and having water at hand as well.
Oh yes, I did that too.
Having water at hand is a really important thing, just so you can hydrate your throat, and it would be I think it would be silly just to go into a recording studio, which is aimed at your voice and not
we'll have like a camp
dehydrated. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that. So regarding the acting technique that I used, evaluating the acting technique, I made sure that I was physically free. Like, physically free, it's a necessity, you've got to be, because, quote, Mark Hamill, he said, one of the things that I love about voiceover is that it's a situation where, because you're not encumbered by being seen, it's liberating. You're able to make broad choices that you would never make if you're on camera. And I think just because you're not being seen, like I said, you have liberty, you just feel like you can go further with it.
See, I found that more difficult, but I know that I could have done it and I should have pushed myself, but I found that difficult. I was very just like this. And especially my characters, they were so over the top. Towards the end, I got a bit better, but they're so over the top. I could have done a lot more kind of like gestures and things like that. I also have a quote here. I assume the body language, no matter what I'm doing in a voiceover, there is a transformative aspect. By Jennifer Hale. So she obviously knows how to do it the best way.
I think this is very true.
Yeah, but that's probably the most thing I struggled with, was that. I think.
Okay, major approaches to voice work that we used.
So I used quite a few accents. I did a Texas accent, well, somewhat of a Texas accent. And for that, not quite sure. So for that, I spoke more from the back of my throat. And I also kind of tightened my jaw a bit. And I put the tongue, I raised the back part of my tongue like that. I also used I just used A instead of I and E. So it was like, instead of pen and pin, it was like pan and pan, if that makes sense. And also kind of like elongated words as well. It was very like mrr.
That's what they do,
very kind of like relaxed.
Yes.
What about you?
I ensured that it was stuff like changes of pitch and tone.
Me too.
Yeah, it has, because you are trying to engage the audience, the listener, with your voice. Your voice has to be interesting and colourful. And I think changing the pitch and the tone and emphasising different words and ensuring that taking them on a journey.
Yeah.
Because if I was talking like this, the way I'm talking now, and I actually recorded my voice reel like this, it would be a shambles, and they wouldn't listen for long. Yeah. Because it's just monotone.
We both had a similar one. Like we both had a very high pitched one.
Yeah.
A very high pitched kind of squeaky one.
Yeah.
Which which was a challenge. Like we had to make sure we were obviously really warmed up for that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, we both had quite pitchy ones, didn't we? Yeah, so that was a challenge, and also I had a bit of a Chavi accent, so obviously I was very lazy and kind of dropped a lot of pronunciation and things like that.
I have a quote from
Lovely.
Stephen Root.
Ooh.
It says, "It's fun to do voiceover work, although you still have to act, but it doesn't involve memorising lines, and you don't have to dress up." And I guess it's going back to the whole idea that it is liberating, that you don't have people watching, so you ain't got to remember the lines, but it is so important, and it requires so much energy just to record the voice work.
Yeah.
There's so much effort that has to go into it that I think people underestimate, and only when you actually get in there and have to do all like the physical stuff do you realise that it's quite draining.
Yeah, you think it's more of a safety net, having everything there, having like the words there, no one seeing you, but sometimes it can hinder you because it stops you from being...
Become complacent.
Yeah, you become complacent, so there's no one's watching you, so you have nothing to kind of feed off of, if that makes sense.
Yes, a challenge I faced was I'd never worked in a voice studio before this project, so getting to at least trial one was interesting.
Yeah.
Making sure my voice is warmed up and flexible all the time was a challenge because my throat isn't always clear.
Yeah.
And for that reason, it's my performance does suffer sometimes because of it. And I think that's probably just down to, I don't know, maybe drink choice. I only drink water, so I don't know what the problem is, but I think it's probably just health sometimes.
Maybe, you're quite ill quite a lot.
Yeah.
Can we move on to working practices?
Of course.
Yep.
Okay, so what are the working practices in a studio?
So I was quite lucky. I didn't come across too many kind of challenges or hinders in the studio. Only again the slot times, so we had to kind of have half an hour slot times, go back out, come back in. But that wasn't a bad thing because we could speak about it in the break, then we could come back in. Again, we had to be careful because we left a recording on there, and then the news guy was coming in to read the news, and the recording was still left on the thing. So if he hadn't have looked at it quickly, it would have played on air. It was still kind of in the system, so it was my thing was just about to play on air, and then he was like, "Oh no, okay." So we had to be careful with that because my voice rule would have gone out.
That would have been interesting.
Sort of, yeah. So we had to be careful. We had to be so aware of other people because it was going out on air. So we had to be very aware of that other people had other things going on, kind of thing. But regards to technical, everything was okay with that. The editing, that was okay. I had my friend had helped me, so yeah, it wasn't too bad. How was yours?
Well, it was regarding the working practices. It was having complete respect for.
Yeah.
This is the difficult thing because I'm part of me is going from the perspective of actually getting recording time, and I ended up having to record it all myself and editing it myself.
Oh, blimey,
which was kind of disappointing, and that's not anything against the team necessarily because our timetables clash.
Yeah.
It was just difficult to organise stuff.
Yeah.
But the working practices within the studio is I would have had respect for the people there and making sure that I followed direction, followed their lead, and but was also sure to take control of the creative process because if they were like okay, moving on, and I wasn't happy with it, and I didn't say can I record that again? I'm not happy with that.
Yeah, because if they're trained in that section, obviously they won't know, and they don't know you because you didn't know them, so they won't know how far you could take it.
Regarding the role of technology, and how much of an impact it has, it was making sure that I was used to my own voice, hearing it back.
Yes.
When when I played it back to myself, when they played it back during that trial day that we went to the CIC, when you hear it that loud, you're kind of like, oh, okay. So it's getting used to that. It's also learning not to shout into the mic. It's being aware of background noises, distances, the S's and the F's as well. It's releasing the right amount of air, so when you hear it back, it just doesn't go all the time. You know?
And yeah, and being aware that it is just right there. Like, you don't have to shout. And I have a quote. It's like spicy food. Sometimes you have to tone it down so more people can enjoy it. Kenneth Edmonds, for you there. But yeah, I often shouted in it, and it is just like kind of not conversational, but the person will hear it straight through there. It will be like that close to them, if that makes sense.
Pierce them if it's too much.
Yeah, because I have to shout it and it just sounded ridiculous. So.
That would have been my challenge.
Yeah, me too.
Was becoming competent with the microphone.
Yeah.
And understanding and remembering all the little things, like not slapping your lips and releasing the correct amount of air on the S's and the F's.
Yes.
And using time efficiently. Had I been in the recording studio, this is where I would have struggled, because when I was recording it myself, I was my own timekeeper.
Yes, I see.
I tried to keep it brief because I knew that I wouldn't be able to do the same thing in the voice studio, but because it was pretty much my makeshift studio that I made myself, I had control of it.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a downfall in the end. It's the one thing that I may not have learnt as much about during this project because of just inability to organise recording studio times.
Yeah.
So I don't appreciate maybe the time restraints that you have as well.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Because when you're at home, you can practice for as long as you like.
Yeah.
But once you get in the studio, it's like cut.
Yeah,
So
you're quick. You only have like half an hour or whatever it was.
yeah, exactly. So you've got to, like we said, make sure you're warmed up and just be 100% prepared. Because you haven't got like 5 minutes to waste. Because that could be the time you get your perfect recording.
Exactly. And having like going back to respecting the team as well, and timekeeping. I have a quote from Karen Joy Fowler. It says, "Arriving late is a way of saying that your own time is more valuable than the time of the person who waited for you."
Exactly.
And the team, they cut time out of their day to come and help you. The least you should be doing is turning up on time, turning up early.
Yeah.
You know?
And you're just rushed as well once you get in.
Exactly, and that's the same with anything. If you're late to classes or late to work or whatever, you're in a rush. And it means the performance is affected.
Yeah, I mean, I'm usually so bad with timekeeping, but when it comes to things like this, I have to be like early, otherwise.
Did you say your challenge? Did you have a challenge for this? It's cool, don't worry. It's cool. I've got my notes split into like challenges and everything. So.
Should we move on to the third one about the responsibility of your planning and your place in the market?
Yes, sorry.
That's okay.
Me and a few other people, including yourself, made a group chat, didn't we?
Yes,
on WhatsApp.
We did, yeah.
We made a group chat on WhatsApp, and we intended to meet up and record the material 2 weeks ago. Instead, because of the way things worked out, I had to change a lot of things. I had to take charge of it and record it myself, and then edit as well.
Yeah.
I know how to edit things, which is alright, but I've never recorded a voice before, so it was such a different thing to have to go through. What about yourself?
I did see you really tried though. Like you really tried to get in some slots and stuff, but obviously the timetables just clashed.
Yeah.
Again, it was just fitting in with when the studio could do it, which is again you have to book very in advance,
Sure.
and just make sure you have a good time slot. But as long as you keep pushing it, it will happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it wasn't too challenging. I just had to make sure I was on it in advance. If that makes sense, because like calling up a day before, they wouldn't be free.
Yeah.
So.
Regarding taking charge of it as well, finding the pieces for the voice
Oh,
reel.
yeah.
I found them. I also wrote, I wrote like one of the pieces of the Gruffalo. I didn't write that one.
You wrote the laundry.
Yeah, I didn't use that one in the end.
Oh, I love that one.
There's three more that I used instead, just because it was hard trying to find, because it's a character reel. It was hard trying to find pieces that were out there already that could accommodate the voices that I was looking to use. So having to the creative process was interesting, just because I had to write around the voices that I had.
Yeah.
but it was also a good opportunity just to write stuff as well.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is nice. So
Yeah.
it's good fun.
It was more like for me thinking outside the box. So
Yeah.
I knew I could do some accents of some sort.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, should I write something? Or then I thought, why don't I do these monologues that I already know, but just do them, like the one I did was meant to be in RP, but I did it in kind of Cockney. So yeah, I did it in Cockney. So I just thought, thinking outside the box, I'm like, well, why not? Why can't I just change it and mix it up a bit? And I did we did an improvisation one on my last one.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, that was just changing it very quickly, but it really worked. So just being open, I think, and just But I think, where do you think you sit in the industry?
Well, this voice reel, the one that I've done, would be more for cartoon character work.
Yeah.
Definitely is. It's pretty much just. It is voiceover with different voices, like fun ones. There's a scary one in there as well, so I've kind of tried to vary it a little bit. That's where I see it sitting. But because it is a character reel, I feel like it was going to have I think the focus would have been for cartoons anyway.
Yeah.
Or audiobooks.
Yeah.
Audiobooks as well, like reading through a book with different characters in.
Yes. Yeah.
Is where it could be aimed as well. So that's what I'd love to see it used for, or at least I'd like to get work.
Yeah, me too, I think. Along the same lines, I tried to get a bit of narration in there before I did an actual character, so they could kind of see a bit of just me, but kind of the professional me kind of thing. So I tried to get that in there, as well as obviously with characters, but along the same lines, obviously we did along the same lines, voice reels, so something comedic, or just a bit out there. Because I don't think my actual voice, I don't know, this is just my opinion, is that colourful, is that like, so I would have to put some kind of tint, some kind of like twist on it.
Twist,
to make it a bit more interesting, to set it out from the rest.
You got a colourful voice, don't worry. It's good. It's cool. It's
cool.
I think the most challenging thing about this section was having to do everything.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
And
yeah.
like that was like it was frustrating because I wanted the experience of going into the studio and actually recording a voice reel.
Yeah.
The negative would be that obviously the sound isn't as good as it is in a studio. It's good, but it's not like as good as it would have been in there. The editing, I did the editing. Like I don't know how good the people are in the studio at editing. I don't know how good they are, what they would have done differently. So I would have liked to see their perspective on it and how they would have taken it. But the good thing is, I now know how to make a voice reel whenever I need one, and I won't have to book out a studio necessarily.
Yeah.
If I need one quickly, I can go to this room that I found in my church, put a mattress up around me, and just sit in the corner where the acoustics are really, really good. Yeah. And I'll be able to make one myself, which is cool as well. In a way though, I wished that I was pushed to do that. Like I wish that, because I kind of went in and everything was set out and I kind of helped him edit, but I didn't do it myself, so I didn't learn as much as I could have done. But you got the experience as well, which is really awesome. I got the experience, but I wish I had the experience of making the whole thing, of by myself. So I wish I got that, really. I wish I learned to... It was stressful. Yeah, it sounds so stressful. I probably don't wish it in real life, but I do, because you just don't know when you're going to need to do something like that. So I wish that maybe I was pushed a bit more to learn how to edit and things like that. So.
Okay, thank you very much. Well done. There you go.
I will go and print off the notes.
Thank you.